Hello, everyone. I'm a job seeker living alone in New York City while preparing for employment. How many times a day do you practice self-care? Statistically, it's recommended to do it 3 times a week. For me, what started as self-care has now blossomed into a romantic relationship. One morning, while eating breakfast and doing the dishes as usual, I happened to glance out the window and was shocked by what I saw. I could see a 20-something guy's package on the balcony across from me. I wanted to pretend I didn't notice, but his package was so large that I couldn't help but keep looking. The young man had a tall, muscular build and was undeniably handsome. As I was staring, he seemed to finish his cigarette and his hand moved towards his package. I was so surprised that I unconsciously left the dishes and covered my face with both hands. It looked like the young man was trying to take care of business. His hand movements got faster and faster, and his package stood tall and proud. Just as I was about to look away to avoid seeing the young man's finale, our eyes suddenly met. Though we were far apart and I couldn't see his eyes clearly, I was certain we had made eye contact. The young man stopped what he was doing and went inside, closing the balcony curtain. That was my first encounter with the 20-something guy on the balcony. After that, every morning, while I ate breakfast and did the dishes, without fail, the young man would come out to the balcony to smoke. At the same time, in the same place, he would always reveal his package more and more boldly. That day, maybe because he was wearing mesh, it felt particularly sexy. He seemed to want someone to watch him while he smoked his after-meal cigarette. His package wasn't very big while he was smoking, but the moment his hand moved towards it after finishing his cigarette, it grew uncontrollably larger and larger. Watching him reminded me of my own 20s. Before I knew it, memories of my 20s came flooding back, and my hand started moving towards my own special place. Living alone, far from home, and without a boyfriend, I sometimes find myself indulging in self-care. I ended up bringing a chair to the kitchen window, focusing on him while taking care of myself. He must have noticed me watching because, after finishing his cigarette, his hand went toward his package. So we faced each other and started moving our hands for about 30 minutes. I've tried self-care online too, but they say it's good for your health and self-satisfaction to cherish the parts of your body that feel good, like your lips, ears, inner thighs, shoulder blades, etc. So I enjoy it by myself once or twice a week. Both the balcony guy and I moved our hands up and down, watching each other with satisfaction. In the end, I was the first to take a trip over the moon, and I gestured to the 20-something guy that I was going inside first, so he went inside shortly after. After that, the young man appeared at the same time, in the same place every day. After a couple of months of facing each other and enjoying our mornings, it felt like we had become neighbors who satisfied each other. Even from afar, he was quite handsome, so I didn't mind. In fact, because he was so good-looking, my curiosity only grew. Now he would even take out his phone from afar and gesture as if asking for my contact information. Thinking, if it's meant to be, we'll meet someday, I refused and went back inside. After that, the balcony guy appeared in my dreams a few times, and maybe because we took trips over the moon together in my dreams, I couldn't forget the feeling. He was one of the men I wanted to experience in real life. To try to meet him, I turned on a neighborhood app, thinking he might appear. Sure enough, within 70 meters, a photo of the young man, or someone who looked similar, popped up on the app. Thinking he might recognize me, I registered a photo and started a one-on-one chat. The young man read the message but didn't reply. Frustrated, I went over to the opposite building in the morning to look for him. As expected, the young man came out to the balcony to smoke, and when he saw me, he gestured for me to wait, indicating he would come down soon. That's how we actually had our first meeting. The 20-something guy was living with his parents, and when his parents, who run a restaurant, left for work in the morning, he would come out to the balcony alone to alleviate his loneliness. Though he was in his early 20s and 6 years younger than me, he was playful, and we quickly became close. We exchanged contact information, and to ease the awkwardness, we went to a nearby restaurant for food and drinks. The young man said he had comforted himself a lot while watching me and promptly placed my hand on his package. Wondering if he was coming on too strong for a first meeting, I looked at his fist-sized package and asked, "When did your package get so big? Does seeing me make you feel this good?" He replied, "Whenever I see you, my package gets excited right away, and I feel so good I can't control myself. I've been imagining taking trips over the moon with you, and I'm so happy to finally meet you in person." I told the young man that my menstrual cycle had just started recently, so we should have a good time later, but it was no match for the vigor of a 20-something. We ended up going to a nearby hotel, laying out thick towels on the bedding, and starting our encounter. We began comforting each other with the skills we had used for self-care. As we took it slow and gentle, we couldn't control ourselves, and we had a passionate time. Being in his 20s was just that, being in his 20s. We did it 7 times, alternating between front and back, losing track of time. Our chemistry was so good that I wanted to win this man over. Youth is a good thing, I thought, feeling rejuvenated. In the end, I confessed and asked him to date me, and we became a couple. Now we not only comfort each other while facing our balconies, but we also make love in various places like the apartment emergency stairs or rooftop, continuing our beautiful love story.